What up, what up, what up? It's your boy E.T. Welcome to YPR Radio. Listen to me. I thought I was doing it big before, but I'm taking it to a whole nother level with this episode. I have the founder, BK, is with me in the studio. That's right, founder, CEO of Vemma. Just talk to me before we get started. I got a whole bunch of questions. We don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to get as much out of you as I possibly can. Let's talk. What do you want to start this thing off?
Well, E.T., you know, us guys with initials got to stick together. You know
That's right, E.T., BK. Absolutely, I love it.
I have to tell you, I'm excited about making a difference. That's been my passion. I think that the reason I'm still doing what I'm doing after 17 years as an owner in the wellness industry goes back to my experience in life. You know, people go through these things, these challenges, these experiences, and it creates a story. It allows you to relate to people that go through these experiences. I remember, you know, sometimes when I'm stressed and under a lot of pressure, my dad used to tell me, this is what it feels like. The feeling you're going through right now is what it feels like to be on the verge of greatness, to take that next step. And you know, I lost my dad at 71 to a heart attack. I lost my mom at 62 to a brain tumor. And so there's so much science behind supplementation, and my passion, my drive, my why, which you talk about so much, is really founded in the fact that I want to help families avoid or delay the kind of pain that I went through over a period of just a couple of years, losing both my parents. And so, you know, all the things that I get fired up about, I mean, you know, we've got our own manufacturing plant. I mean, we're doing this the right way. You know, quality control. We can our own Verve. We bottle our own Vemma products. I've got a chief science officer that got his MD in China in cardiology. He got his PhD at LSU in genetic obesity. He is the gatekeeper. I mean, we have products that you can't find anywhere on the planet, and all of the things, clinical studies. You know, I sat down with a friend of mine, Dr. Oz, 5-6 years ago, when he said, BK, he goes, if you want to separate your products from the pills, the potions, the juices out there, you got to do clinical study on your product. And, you know, when you're sitting down at lunch with a guy like Dr. Oz, you don't say that's a dumb idea.
Absolutely.
You agree
Absolutely.
Before I even knew how much it cost.
Right.
So I stepped up and I spent the money. We did 2 clinical studies, and we discovered that this Vemma formula, and a full dose of the Vemma formula is in every can of Verve, is clinically proven. It increases the antioxidant level in your blood by 18% and keeps it saturated for 6 hours. And 18% is a huge number if anybody's into the medical field. And it significantly boosts your immune system. All these things that is my passion, these young kids don't care about. You know, they care about, hey, does it taste good and can I make money?
Absolutely, absolutely. But let me ask you this. So you saw the video I did about greatness is upon you.
I tweeted it, I Facebooked it, I did it all. And you got to tell you know, 11 million plus views on your success.
It's
how
okay.
bad you want it.
It's okay.
I'm impressed,
yeah,
man.
It's okay.
I'm down.
We're getting to this level. And so, and again, that's what's so impressive to me. You know, I always talk about, okay, you got Mother Teresa, you know, you got Martin Luther King, but for me, it was like, at some point, you know, after the gated community, you know, after the house, after the cars, you know, a lot of people get stuck there, and that's it. And there are a few of us, we take we become the change we want to see. And so what's most impressive about what you do for me is that you're working with this group of young people. Like most companies, you know, these guys are, you know, they're 30 and 40 and 50, and you're actually taking a chance on our youth that people are saying, hey, we don't have a future if we're waiting on these guys. Tell me first what age you start at, and then tell me why. What drove you to work with this age group?
Well, you know, I read an article, and the story goes back probably 4 or 5 years. I read an article on energy drinks, and I called it, and I don't know if this is politically correct, but I called it the poisoning of America's youth, because it's basically caffeinated soda pop with little to no nutritional value. And I read this article, and it just stuck with me. We didn't have Verve at the time, and I was in the shower a couple weeks later, and that's kind of where I'm doing my thinking, because I got 6 kids under 6. I got a beautiful wife, Courtney, that handles all the stuff at home. And so when you're in the shower at home, it's kind of like your private, quiet time. And I was thinking about this, and I thought, you know what? These kids are smart. They're not dumb. If you give them a choice, do you want to do healthy or unhealthy? Typically, these kids are going to say, I want to do something healthy. Here's the dilemma. Here's this huge void that I saw in this, at the time, it was a $5.6 billion domestic market, is there was no healthy option. It was your typical, Red Bull, Monster, Rockstar, all of the products out there, and so I got this thought about, let's give them a healthy choice. That's the product. Put it in a, give it a hip, cool name, and put it in a great can, and do some branding around it. And Dr. Wong, my chief science officer, I said, can you put a full dose of this clinically studied Vemma formula in a can of product and give them a healthy option? And that's how we created it. And it was funny so we launched it, 3-4 years ago. And my thought was the kids are going to come flocking to this. And I was so flocking wrong, I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
It was the reason that the brand is still alive is because the baby boomers, these people that knew they needed a supplement, they understood about antioxidants or anti-aging, anti-disease, or all of the science behind antioxidants. They said, I can get my Vemma in a beverage and it tastes good. And so the baby boomers really were the ones that supported this brand for the first 3-4 years. And then Mark Patterson, my VP of branding, comes in and says, hey, let's take that can and let's give it a new look. Let's give it a new package and a little hipper, a little cooler. And then Alex Morton, man, he was the guy that was in a situation where he saw an opportunity and he seized it. And it's funny how people that are listening might think, well, I'm only one person, and what can one person do? And this guy literally founded this whole Young People Revolution. It was so funny because when they call themselves Young People Revolution, my branding team said, let's call it Verve Revolution. And I said, you guys just leave these kids alone. Let them call themselves whatever they want and address this. But, you asked about what age. And when I was 14 years old, and I was in high school, man, I had a paper route. I was bagging groceries. I used to go home, take the groceries out of the cupboards at my parents' house, and I would practice bagging to get better and faster. And so I was hustling. And it's funny, in this business, it's kind of a sorting process. And you're going to find people that want to hustle, and you're going to find people that want to play around. And when you become adults, you're going to find people that want to hustle. So things don't change. Yeah. You just got to sort through and find the people. So we were the first company in this networking industry. We call it social network marketing. That allows 14 to 17-year-olds with parental permission. You got to fill out this form and you got to get it notarized. And you can't be like, I'm faking your mom's signature. We got it because we got responsibilities. But I had a 16-year-old that qualified. We have a BMW car program. He's driving a BMW his junior year of high school.
Wow. I want to be your son. Can I switch some kind of way?
Hey, I got 6. What's 7?
Yeah, right. Look, you talked about even as a young person in high school, how you practice bagging, and back in the day, when we're fairly young, but back in the day,
I ain't telling if you ain't telling.
I won't tell. I promise. There was this.
I got to get me one of them hats though.
Well, I'm going to get you one then. So there was this laziness, that people are talking about now, but we knew back in the day to be successful, and even now there's this work ethic. Can you speak to? Because I don't think every young person is lazy. Can you speak to how important it is in terms of success? You talked about hustling and going at it.
Well, in my position, I get to interact with a lot of different age groups, and I don't really find the young people being lazy. They're just distracted, and you can, one person would call a kid lazy, and the next person would say this guy just did an all-nighter on Xbox. Right. I mean, what they need is and so to do an all-nighter on Xbox, you got to have a work ethic. That's right. It's not, you ain't fooling around. But what they need is they need somebody to be passionate about. That has attracted them. That has captured their attention. That they've taken that passion, that work ethic, and turned it into something that's more profitable. So when you see these kids, and I got to tell you, I have parents that send me emails, that call me up, that have actually flown in to see me and said, you have changed my kid's life.
Wow.
And that is, and the kids, they talk about the money and they talk about the cars, they talk about the lifestyle, but what is my hot button is making a difference, is telling these parents that, hey, your kid's gonna be different because he chose to pursue this Verve opportunity.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, you talked about the clinical studies, empirical data, but there'll be people out there would say, this is just like anything else. And oftentimes, we hear these critics, but I know that there's some some real credible companies out there, some organizations that have backed you guys and believe in you guys. Can you speak to some of those organizations?
Well, I think that from my standpoint, people always go, "Where's the money come from?"
Right.
You got these young kids making, $1 million a year, $100,000 a year, $50,000 a year. I mean, $20,000 a year. Where does the money come from? And I spent 7 years in advertising, and every time I'd go into a business owner and I'd sit down with them and I would talk to them about an ad strategy, if you ask them the question, what's the number one form of advertising? Hands down, word of mouth advertising. Every business owner wants their nightclub, wants their movie, wants their restaurant talked about and tweeted about and Facebooked about and the experience and everything. And yet, it's the least compensated. Nobody, you go into a fancy restaurant with 12 of your friends and say, "Hey, how about slipping me my meal for free?" They look at you funny. And so I'm looking at if that's the number one form of advertising, and Red Bull spends $900+ million a year. How do I, little energy drink company, wellness company from Scottsdale, Arizona, compete with $900 million? That's like the $900 million gorilla.
Right.
And so the way we do it is we say, "You like our product? We'll pay you to talk it up." We'll put the same dollars. They spent $15 million to have a guy jump out of a balloon.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to spend about $50 million this year on these young kids, on their parents, on anybody that wants to tap into this social network marketing concept, this business model that we have here, and to give you an idea how big this network marketing model is, because you hear and I follow our hashtag on Twitter, and so I'll hear these kids say, "Oh, it's a scam," and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, "Well, what's your plan? I mean, do you have a better plan? Is your plan, include working for 40 years then retiring broke?" Because that's what most plans are out there. We have a different plan. We're a little more innovative. But when you take a look at this industry, you mentioned the Tigers and baseball. MLB this year is going to do $7.7 billion in revenue. The NFL is going to do $9.5 billion in revenue. The NBA, we have a relationship with the Phoenix Suns. And that's another thing that I always kind of chuckle about is here you got this person saying we're a scam. And, David Stern and his team of lawyers at the NBA, they checked us out. I mean, to sign a long-term deal with an NBA franchise, you got to check out. You got to go through the smell test. They do testing. Randomized testing on our product all the time, and that's just something that's in our contract. So when people are concerned about the validity of our business model, I mean, the NBA has signed off on it, and we got a relationship with them, and so the NBA $3.8 billion, the NHL $3.3 billion. So if you take a look at all the revenue that that those sports franchises are going to generate this year, $24.3 billion. And then you take a look at these kids who are into music and entertainment. The music industry, $15.2 billion. The movie industry, $10.2 billion. So that's another $25 billion right there. And you realize this network marketing, just domestically, just in America, this year is going to do $38.5 billion. Worldwide, $132 billion. There's 87 million people doing this business model. And obviously, I kind of pride myself in doing it a little bit different. I always say, hey, we're like the Apple computers of network marketing because we bring innovation. We do podcasts, with celebrities like E.T.
Well, I don't know about a celebrity, but we're here together.
And I always tell people, Apple didn't invent the MP3 player.
Absolutely.
They just brought their innovation. They didn't invent the cell phone. They just brought their innovation. They didn't even invent the computer or the tablet, but they brought their innovation. They did it differently, and that's what I pride myself in Vemma doing things, even though we're in a $100+ billion industry. We are really the only company that is focused on these young people, high school, college. I mean, this is, and I feel bad for them because they are caught in a crappy economy.
Absolutely.
Everybody's 401k blows up. And those baby boomers are not exiting the workforce to be able to create the vacuum to bring the new people up. They're saying it's going to be about another 8 years before, they're extending the time when you can retire. And so, through no fault of their own, these young people are saddled with over $1 trillion in student debt, more debt than credit card debt. If you can even get your head around that, they're 50+% unemployment rate. Even if you get a college education, you still, 1 out of 2 of them isn't going to get a job. Yeah. And yet, it's the most socially connected market segment in the history of the planet. They freaking invented Facebook.
Wow.
This market segment.
That's right.
And companies in my industry are like, oh, I have other owner friends. They're like, oh, those kids are never serious about anything. They're lazy. They don't have any money. And I'm like, you keep thinking that way. I'm going to think a little different. And different ain't bad.
And not at all. And so you're there. You're right there. But if you could just drive this point home for me, what drives this company? Why do you do what you do?
Because I love it. They ask me what my exit strategy is. I mean, we're going to do $120 million this year, okay? And there's, these suits come in. I'm sitting here with you wearing flip-flops. Right. That's just what I do.
I love it. That's why we're here together.
Absolutely. I've been talking so much, my voice is giving out. But
let's drink some Verve.
I tell you, man, it's my third today. I had figured that out about 2 hours ago. But my exit strategy is that I got 6 kids under 6. I want to raise my kids up to be able to start them working in the warehouse. Yeah. We employ about 160 people here in the Valley. We've got our own manufacturing facility. They want to drive forklifts. I said, good, you know what, go to school. And I always tell kids, I say, you want to stay in school. You want to get an education. There is no penalty for being smart on this planet. But the biggest reason is because of the social interaction. We are in a people business. We are a business about having conversations with people, and I don't know where you can go that you can't find tens of thousands of kids that are all there to better themselves.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't go to school because you're lazy and you want to fail. You want to succeed and get ahead.
Absolutely.
And that is such a target-rich environment. And when you're going to school, take business classes, man. Take things where you can find like-minded people.
Absolutely.
And just share this story about Verve.
Yeah. Now, I had a chance to go to the administrative office. We did the tour. But you have something that I've never seen before. I like to call it a Verve Central. You have a place for young people that's totally separate from the administrative office and what you're doing. Why? I mean, why are you giving young people their own space?
Well, it's funny. Alex Morton came to me and he said, dude, they're throwing us out. We got too many kids, gathering in the dorms, gathering in the houses. Neighbors are complaining. We need a place. And I own this building. This is down about, 5 minutes from ASU. Okay. And we're in the lobby. We're at Verve Central right now. And I just said, okay. And so Alex goes, hey, you know what? We'll bring our own chairs, man. I got a place that sells $5 chairs. Can you imagine what this place would look like with $5 chairs?
I
don't do anything $5, man. When you got a Verve brand that you spend millions of dollars to build up. I mean, what's funny about this? When you go into the Verve Lounge at US Airways Arena, this nightclub, they've got carving stations. It holds 500-600 people. It is like the place to be on a Suns night. I mean, everybody's. Are you going to the Verve Lounge? I mean, it's all about branding. So when you come to Verve Central here, it's just a meeting place. Holds about 100 people. And we got an 80-inch television with your good-looking picture on that. Yeah. And we just want to. We're all about credibility because we know when you're talking to that prospect out there, you start in the hole because in the back of their mind, whether they verbalize it or not, they're saying this is a scam. This is too good to be true. Yeah. And so the more we can do to help these young people overcome that challenge, and they walk in, they look around, and they feel the energy. One of the things that the Suns does for us is they have a college night. Every home game, they have a college night where you show your college ID, and it's sponsored by Verve. For $5, you get a ticket to the game, you get a pass to the Verve Lounge, and you get a Verve. Because you know what the Suns told me? They want the college demographic. These college kids, they bring so much excitement, they bring so much energy. They want the arena filled with these young people. And I told them, I said, you might get 1,000+ a night, man. These kids are crazy. And they're like, bring it. We got it. So I'm excited about doing things kind of outside the box.
Absolutely.
Because when you look at this $100 billion industry and we're the only company that's actually focused on this market segment, it's primarily because we're an opportunity that fits into a kid's life. They don't have to fit in to our business. We fit. I mean, when they stop and think about it, you've got kids that drink energy drinks. So, I mean, this is when you're thinking about who's good for this business. Who do you know that drinks energy drinks? And you travel to all the high schools and colleges. You just go, and I challenge you, look in the garbage can in any of those schools. You're going to find cans of Red Bull, Rockstar, Monster. I mean, it's just prolific, okay? And we're the only energy drink that pays them. I mean, so when you think about it, who do you know that drinks energy drinks? Who do you know likes to send out texts? You know, I spent $95,000 to develop an app for Android and iPhones that allows you, you know, because I said this business about conversations. It allows you to, it's a free download. Yeah, I got your back on this. $95,000, it's free to you. You download this. It takes your, if you got an iPhone, it takes your Facebook and your phone contacts, creates a prospect list, and you just you push on a name, and you push on the Verve brand. It puts a pre-populated text with a little video link. And that video link is about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it's Brad Alcazan, this 26-year-old that's going to make $1 million this year promoting Verve. Drives a 6 Series BMW convertible, black. He's living he's got a $75,000 diamond watch. I mean, these kids are crazy. But he talks to your friend about this concept on your behalf. And here's the cool thing is E.T., when you're watching this video, if I send it to you, I get a push notification says E.T. is watching the Verve video. So now all of a sudden I know I'm going to call you up and I'm going to just tell you why I'm excited about this thing. Because the biggest challenge that kids have is they don't know what to say. How do you start it off? And here you can just use your smartphone and send out text. So who do you know that drinks energy drinks? Who do you know that sends out text? Who do you know that wants to make a boatload of money?
Everybody.
And who do you know wants to drive free BMW?
Yeah, everybody.
That's our market.
Yeah, unbelievable. So BK, being a visionary, my last question for you, because I know you've thought about the future. I know you're cutting edge. What's next? A year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, where's Verve?
Dude, I honestly, you know, we're approaching 2 million cans a month in sales of Verve. I see this becoming $1 billion brand. I see us, you know, they're saying the energy drink market over the next 5 years is going to grow by 86%, you know, to over $12 billion. And so I can see us being, you know, at least 10% of that. I mean, domestically. And then this whole YPR movement is going on in Canada, it's going on in Mexico, it's going on all across Europe. We're bringing it to Asia. And here's the cool thing about colleges, okay? 40% plus of the students that go to colleges come from somewhere else. You know, so when you think about how this grows virally, how this business model, this concept that fits into kids' lives has such viral potential, not just in America. I mean, Facebook, they don't say you can't connect with people in Europe. They say you can't connect people with, they say connect. There's over 1 billion people on Facebook, and they're saying connect anywhere. And so we have this plan to become $1 billion brand. And, you know, like I said, all of our brands, you know, Vemma, we've got the Vemma formula. We've got Body, which is our weight loss, weight management program. Chris Powell's our spokesperson there. We've got the Verve brand. Brands for different members of the family. We got Vemma Next for kids 2 to 12 years old, because I'm all about kids. Finest children's supplement on the planet. And so we're kind of a wellness company that happens to be in the energy drink market, coming out with a healthy energy drink, and it can scale. I mean, our manufacturing facility can make 1,200 cans a minute. That's 20 a second.
Wow.
It simultaneously fills 84 cans at the same time. And so how big can this be? It can be pretty big.
Wow.
And ET, you know, when we're talking about these incomes, I always tell people, I said, hey, you know, your results are not typical. You may do better. You may do worse. This may be the best decision you ever made. It may not work for you, but you got to at least try. You can go to Vemma.com, see a full income disclosure sheet. We want to be a transparent company, and we just lay it out and say, you know, we don't care where you're coming from. We don't care what you've done. The only thing we care about is where you want to go.
Wow. Wow. Look, guys, I tell you, young people revolution. The movement has just been taken over by BK. He took over. All right, bananas. Listen to me very closely. Make the decision. Make the choice. Once again, you've been listening to YPR Radio. And yes, indeed, it's your boy, E.T.